Good morning, good morning, good morning. We have had an explosive week. Catalyst Club came to an end. So if you did make Catalyst 3, 2, 1, we want to congratulate you. The Florida event is finally locked in, and we have a ton of information to pass along. So I want to go first to Ken and Brent. Y'all share any updates you want to, and I've got a notes. If anything y'all miss, I'll chime in at the end, and we'll get our morning kicked off.
Thanks, Todd. Thanks, Brent. Thanks, all the people out there. I know it's cold in some areas. I heard yesterday, Todd, it was a minus 108 degrees somewhere in the north. I think it was New Hampshire. No, it had to be up in Canada. But anyway, 108 below zero Fahrenheit. I mean, that is just crazy, crazy. So hopefully everybody stay warm. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As Todd said, we've had a crazy busy time, but some even better things coming. In fact, Todd, next Saturday, a week from today, our global launch of our new name, new branding, and all that kind of stuff, which is our Super Bowl, we could say. And very excited about that. And I know you're going to have some details on the Destin event. We have the dates on that. And then myself and Greg Tedros spent another hour with the IT, the top 6 people in our IT yesterday, designing some one-page enrollment. We've already got mock-ups. I've never been more excited about our IT, Todd, and the simplification that's coming. In fact, think about this, folks. A one-page enrollment, no social security number required, and even the simplicity of that one page, Brent. For example, when you're putting a person's address in, you put their zip code in, and then it brings up the city and state. You don't even have to go there. I mean, it's just so much smoother. The birthday is so smooth compared to what we have. Selecting the pack, selecting your subscribe and save, Todd, or auto delivery, for example. The top 8 packs with 100 volume points. And for anybody new on there, it's just really, really a simplified enrollment process. And by the way, I saw a couple of brand new people, Rob Greer in Charlotte, North Carolina, Alan Sickman down in the Villages of Florida. I'm sure there's a lot of new people on there. There's a couple that I worked with this week and last week. Welcome to the team. Didn't mean to talk so much, Brent. I had all these notes, and Todd just wanted me to say hello, and look what I did. Because most of you know me, 22 years in the industry, 20 years full time, and I can honestly say, Todd, I've never seen a brighter future in that whole time. With the best products in the world, the best pay plan in the world, awesome management with deep pockets. Hard to get any better than that, Brent.
Ken, you're so right. And for everybody that knows Ken, he's pretty even keel. I've never met a more positive person, but I've also never met more of a real person that's not hype. I mean, he's the real deal. And I think, Ken, really the proof is in, as we say in the South, the proof's in the pudding. You know, we literally had thousands of new people join us all over the world. And let me tell you, in North America, we freaking smoked it, as we would say in the coaching world. We smoked it. And so what I love to see and what I've loved to watch, watch it take effect in the Catalyst Club, is you guys blurred the lines of sponsorship. You just went out and said, you know what? We're going to build the biggest company. We're going to celebrate each other's success. We're going to work together. And the proof is in the results. The results came through, and we're still working to get our people to Catalyst Club that are new. Okay. A lot of you are on this call right now, but here's the thing. Teamwork makes it all happen. We go build the biggest building in town. And so Todd would tell you, Ken would tell you, I'll tell you myself, I've never, in my years of network marketing, I've never worked harder in November, December, and January than I've worked this November, December, and January. And we have not made it to the Super Bowl yet. Like, the Super Bowl is February the 11th when we announce to the world who we are. We'll talk about that later. So you should be sitting there right now like giddy inside, because like you've hit the ground running before the Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl is February the 11th. So Todd, Ken, I couldn't be more excited. And because we all joined forces and did it together. It wasn't like one group, Todd's group crushed it, or this group crushed it. I mean, Kitty Hilton's group crushed it, like all over the world. Congratulations.
Yeah, Brent, I hope that everybody understands because everybody does this in the industry, but you and I and Ken are not on the same team. We work sideline together. The events we do are, your growth benefits you, our growth benefits us. So Brent, I always want to thank you for that. I've always worked this industry under the law of abundance. You'll never run out of people, opportunity, countries, people looking for us. You just got to find the ones that are looking. So, when people get signed up in your town from somewhere else, bring them in, help them out, help them grow, because the bigger that meeting gets, the more excitement involved. One thing that I think coaches do well, Brent, and you and I both being a coach, is we cultivate talent, because we're not always the brightest ones, but we're really smart about, in coaching, hiring the right ones for offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, linebacker coach, weight room, all those kinds of things. So it's the same thing here. Brent, you and I, like Anthony right now, making this Zoom work this morning. If he wasn't here, I would have fallen off a cliff this morning trying to get people in the room. Heck, I couldn't even find the number this morning. I was scrambling to get in. So it is an amazing thing to watch. But here's some factual numbers. We can't tell them all, but this one we can. And this, Chris Dole is at the office yesterday and today out in Utah. That's the reason he's not with us this morning, but he is texting me everything to do. So don't think he's not controlling it from behind the scenes, pulling the curtain. But yesterday, Darren told Chris that December was up 24% over November. That's an anomaly I have never seen in 20 years of network marketing. And Darren said to him, for those that are new here, Darren is the one with very deep pockets that came up with $30 million cash in less than 2 weeks to purchase this company, the new company we're launching. Lots more since then, but that was a cash deal. It's, as we always say, it's one thing to be worth that. It's another thing to have it liquid where you can activate something that quickly. But he said when they acquired the company, they did not expect to see forward growth to post next Saturday, February 11th, announcement of the new company name and the new beginning. So to have this growth going on, I'm going to wait and let the company tell you the exact numbers from the Catalyst Club, but I want to reiterate what Brent just said. We blew the world away. It's the first number I've ever heard that we topped Europe, we topped Asia, we topped everywhere. And the numbers of new brand partner signups through the Catalyst Club promotion, without telling you the surprise of how big it actually was, it blew my mind. I could not believe it. It was about 80% more than they expected it to be, like normal growth would have occurred. So I've always said the ones that learn to pour into other people's lives and promote win. And I want to not just congratulate all the Catalyst 1, 2, and 3s out there, but who I really want to congratulate are all the leaders who had a lot of Catalyst winners on their team, because that means you built it in, you promoted it well. And I don't want to call names out, although I know some, because I would absolutely leave some out. Ken and Brent, anything y'all want to say on that before we bring up our guest?
One thing real quick, Todd, for years, when we're talking about timing of joining a company, I've always said that, you've heard me say this phrase, it's the early bird that gets the worm, but it's the second mouse that gets the cheese. Okay. And I said that for years because the early people that show up early and stick around, they do reap great rewards. But very, very often people that the second mouse comes along after everything's in place, and that's when the explosion happens. We got a very unique situation here. We're the early birds and we're the second mouse. Okay. Because everything's in place. $300 million debt-free company. I've never seen that situation before. We're starting as a brand new company, the early birds, but everything's in place. We're not having to wait for IT to get in place. We're not having to wait for marketing. We're not having to wait for manufacturing, great products. It's all done. It's the most unique situation maybe in the history of our industry, Brent.
Yeah, Ken, it's unbelievable. And here's what I want to tell everybody. You watched and you see the Catalyst Club take form, take shape. And all of our new brand partners are now running for the next, 90 days to get to that club. Nigeria is running for that club right now. I know we've got our Nigerian family on here. So congratulations, you're running for Catalyst Club. But let me tell you just one little tip. promoters that people that promote events in our industry make the most money. They just make the most money. They get really good at promoting events. Company runs an event, they get behind it, they promote it to their team. Leverage occurs, the most money is created through the organization. Tomorrow night, Andrea Rosser is going to do a Zoom, and she's going to lay out with leaders a game plan for the next 5 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, leading up to the Saturday unveiling of our new company name. So you could get behind that promotion from be on the call tomorrow night. You'll see what it's about, and you can go out and promote all week next week to build that energy, and it will absolutely grow your business.
Yeah, which were the last two things. I was going to give the two things we need to be promoting right now that it kicks off when this call ends. And number one is next Saturday, there will be no normal Zoom. We will be on the live event, which starts the same time. Make sure you got the link, the flyers that are flowing out, and make sure you need to promote that. This is one time that I will do it every day on social media, not just once every now and then. I'm not as good of a poster as some, but I will make myself a great poster this week, because you can invite new people to this too. There is no requirement. You just got to go and register so they can be prepared for the amount of people worldwide. It will be fascinating to see the different languages, the different countries, the unveiling, the new colors, the new app, the new website, the new everything, the new name that we all now can be a part of a startup together and go change the world. And Andrew, I'm sure going to cover a lot of this, but one thing I will say that Chris Doyle's done with his team, kind of Arkansas, West Tennessee, and he told me even to send my North Mississippi people. Chris has actually rented out a hotel room, and he's doing a watch party. So make sure, promote that on your teams. Do watch parties in your living room. Make sure you get prepared technology wise, get everything hooked up, test it out. You don't want a disaster on launch day. But before I mention the second big promotion, anything y'all want to add there on February the 11th?
Need to make sure you get registered. And I know Anthony's throwing up the registration page on there. We need to get everybody registered. And I love what Ken Huffer just texted that we're the second mouse. New Age's head is in the trap. Hate to say it, that's so funny, but anyway, thank you. Get registered.
That's right. Yeah. If you don't know the funny part, Ken's statement from stage all the time is, you say it, Ken. I'll get it wrong about the second mouse gets the cheese. Oh
yeah, early bird gets the worm, but it's the second mouse that gets the cheese. We get to be the worm and the bird and the second mouse this time, right?
That's right. Anything you got there, Brent?
No, I would just reiterate the call for tomorrow night. There's two emphasis on the call tomorrow night. We're going to give you Andrea Rosser is going to give you a 5-day social media plan to shout it to the world leading up to Saturday. And she's going to give you a very, very simple layout. I'll be there with her on how to reach out to new people, new prospects, to tune them in to that event on Saturday. So we got a really simple plan to literally get the world tuned in for you to grow your business.
Somebody just asked about languages. It's going to be broadcast in multiple languages. Certainly Spanish is what they just asked about, but it'll be in several.
Yeah, all main languages. So if you do here in the United States have some Spanish only speaking, there may be something we need to do there, but there will definitely be translations going on for sure into the different markets. We'll find that out for different languages within the United States. But as we go into other countries, all that's already been prepared. This is actually going to be run from Europe. So the last big announcement is finally official. All the details will not be official until Tuesday. We're doing a big Zoom meeting on Monday morning for all the finalized planning, but you can mark your calendars. The Florida Destin event is set. There will be something along a mastermind. I don't know exactly. Don't take anything I'm saying right now in the details, but there will be some type of leadership catalyst mastermind event on Thursday. The event will be all day Friday and Saturday. There will be an excursion involved. We don't know yet how that's going to work, but all the details are coming. It will be at the same location as last year. Do not book rooms yet. Christine has a final thing to do with Brittany on Monday morning, and she will release the block of rooms to us. The second they are released, they will go out. We'll also include all hotels close by. As a matter of fact, I can tell you those now. That way, if you need those, you'll know. But there is a Hilton Garden Inn, there is a Holiday Inn, and there is a Sheraton 4 Points, very big. The Sheraton seems to always have great rates. It's a little older hotel, but it's right on the beach, beachfront. All three of those are beachfront. They're all within walking distance of our event hotel. And they will be listed as the Hilton Garden Inn, Fort Walton Beach, the Holiday Inn, Fort Walton Beach, and the Sheraton, Fort Walton Beach, Oak Island. It's right in that same area. You'll see the ones on the water. We'll put those on the flyers out on Tuesday. But those that have to plan ahead, babysitters getting off work, vacation, all that kind of stuff. We're hoping this lands on a lot of people's spring break this year. One thing I will assure you in Destin, it will not be cold on that date in April. The only chance we would have is it raining on our party, but it will not. Nobody's got to bring any coats. It will be, no matter what the temperature is when you leave home, it's going to be nice in Destin the third week of April. So that is going to be a crazy good event.
April 13th, that is the April 13th, 14th, 15th, and then that Sunday would be the 16th. There might be some kind of church service or something going on Sunday, I guess, Todd. So really it's the 13th to the 16th, and that's a Thursday to a Sunday.
Yeah, there will be a church service that Sunday morning for those that want to attend. So that will all be on the flyer.
And Todd, one of the things, and Ken, keep everybody keep this in mind. Go ahead and start preparing for it. There is a limited seating. Okay. So when we open up, it will be Eventbrite that we open this up to where you can register. And, you know, the cost we will get to you. Obviously, we always try to hold the cost down, but we also want to make this event. If you've been there in the past, maybe you can put it in the comments. How good is the event in Destin, Florida? I mean, I'm getting literally hammered. I know you guys are too with when is the event in Destin? Well, it's coming in April. So start preparing, like put back $25 a week, so that when we launch that Eventbrite, you can go ahead and register and book your seats, get your team there. So it's going to be awesome.
So Anthony, if you don't mind, go ahead and throw all of our guest speakers up. Because we'll kind of do this as a panel this morning in case somebody thinks of something while somebody else is talking. And we got 40 full minutes, and we've got some of the best. I don't want to say it that way, because there are so many great people that aren't being put up right now. These people have just performed very well, equal to a lot of other great leaders out there. And listen, especially some of you guys up in Canada, anytime you get somebody really doing well, send those to us. We would love to highlight everybody on our Saturday call. So you're never bothering us. That would be Chris Doyle or myself or Ken or Brent, any of us that you need somebody that you think's great to be brought up, whether it be a testimonial for a product, a business testimonial, or a great new person starting out, all the above. So that's never bothering us or asking for something we can't do. So especially the new testimonials on product. Somebody loses 20 pounds the first 3 weeks, whatever it may be. I think y'all heard AJ of that last week. But Ken, let's get this, and Brent, let's get this started off. And let's begin with our title advancers last night. They are moving through the ranks now. They have got people going all over the place. Congratulations. And the great thing about Mike and Lisa is they have great insight for us to approach small business owners. So they have prepared from that angle today. But Ken, I'll let you introduce them, and then we're going to go through why they, as small business owners, by the way, I will say this right now, they own as many as 10 dry cleaners at the same time, coast to coast. You're talking about a minimum of $100,000 investment, rent, employees. They have performed at a high level for over 25 years in that world. And they are looking to get into our company full time. And we're going to find out why. So Ken, I'll turn it over to you and let you introduce them.
Yeah, Todd, I really can't. Mike and Lisa Guidry, they're from Richmond, Virginia. I I can't say enough good things about this couple. In fact, the only negative thing I can say is they're Cowboys fans like Todd and Brent. That I have a hard time overlooking that, Fred, but we'll deal with that. It's not that big of a deal. But they've been with us for a while and become great friends. I guess about 2 years, maybe 2.5. And I had a big promotion this week, so obviously their business is growing. We'll hear from Fred Duff here in a minute, who's a big part of their business. And some of the new folks I mentioned earlier also on their team from down in Charlotte and other areas. So Mike and Lisa, tell us a little bit about your story and why you're here. And in particular, what Todd was talking about, why you're doing it as a small business owner.
We really appreciate it. Matter of fact, to start off, how honored we are to be asked to be here. The three guys at the top are just pure leaders, and we have just really appreciated all the wisdom and insight that you guys have given. The other two at the bottom, Fred and Miss Gracie, we appreciate you guys so much. We get to hear things that just motivate us and just really give us a reason for being here. I do like to start with a quote. I love quotes. Thomas Edison is one of my favorites. Opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work. The reason I say that is this business is not a hobby. This business is not just something fun for us to do. This business is work. We are not afraid of work. We have been working hard for, I say 22 years in the dry cleaners, but it's much before that. Anything that we've ever done that's of value required serious work. We treat everything that's valuable like a business. So when we go in to open a dry cleaners, we don't just say, hey, that looks like a great spot. I bet it's going to do good. We run demographics. We talk to people. We talk to other business owners in the area. We take it serious with the same seriousness that we took this business. When we were looking for something that would free us, we didn't just flip a coin and just say, hey, this company's got great colors. This company's got models on Facebook that make it look fantastic. We looked around, and a lot of people don't know, we actually reached out to a lot of people that were involved and listened to their conversations. We were very serious about it. We looked at the leadership. We looked at the comp plan. We looked at a lot of things. I think when we asked Ken to come down and sign us up, he had mentioned, well, let me explain the comp plan to you. I said, man, I know the comp plan. I've been studying it for 2 months already. So we took it very serious. One of the things that I can mention to people and what we've done is this business takes skills, okay? When we started out, we may have had some sort of thought that we would be just hit the ground running because maybe we've dealt with people, maybe we've done this and that, but we didn't have skills in this industry. We just didn't. So it took a lot of improving. It still takes a lot of improving. We are nowhere near where we want to be. But for those out there that are doing this and looking to go serious part-time or full-time, I would say don't skip the fact that you've got to improve your skills. You've got to get better at inviting people to things. You got to take it serious. You got to treat it like a business. The other thing that was really important for us was to make a decision. When we sat down and we discussed what we were going to do, we made a decision. It wasn't, let's just see how it works. Let's just see what happens. It was, we're going to put our feet in this thing. We know we're going to get our butts kicked for a while. We're going to feel stupid talking to people. We're going to get people that say things to us that may not make our ego feel wonderful, but we're going to keep going. And we're keeping going. We ain't quitting. We're getting there. Right. So this is something that Todd, you asked why do we do this? We were asked that a lot, and Lisa's going to talk a little bit about that. But we were asked, if you have these stores and you guys are doing really good, why are you doing this? Because most people that we would look at, they would say they don't understand what this is. There's a reason. We were never free. Even if we had people in the store and we got to take these extravagant vacations, that phone would ring all hours of the night. We were never free. Our brains never got to really rest. And it was just part of the business, but we were looking for more freedom. We're not afraid to work. We love working. We'll do that forever, but we were looking for the freedom, and we are pushing through to get there.
Right. So like Mike said, our business life for the past 22 years has been in our cleaners. We've leased, built, sold, leased out to other people, as many as 10 dry cleaners throughout the years. And, everybody's experience in business is unique. And as business owners, I know that we share many of those same heartaches with each other. And our entire adult life has revolved around our dry cleaners. So it's all that we've ever known business-wise. So when we made the decision to start a network marketing, we had a lot of people that were looking at us like we were absolutely insane. So we had people laugh at us. We had people mock us. We had people just thinking that we had gone mad. Why would they would ask, why would you go from your successful dry cleaners to this thing? What is this thing y'all got going on that y'all think is going to be run as a business? And so you see, what people failed to see or understand was all the sacrifices and the stresses that we had gone through in those 22 years in our storefront business. What they failed to understand was the nightmares of being in the dry cleaning industry for us. That was all we knew. They were not there to understand the pains of staying up all night with anxiety attacks that were happening because of the stresses. They were not there whenever we had to pay our employees, but we didn't get to take a check home because the employees come first in a small business, not us. Okay, so they didn't understand all the sacrifices that it took. They didn't understand the fact that I couldn't go back to Texas when my mom was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and I was supposed to be the one there to care for her, but because of the cleaners, I could not do that. They didn't understand all the sacrifices. What they didn't understand also was losing everything again, because in 2020, the government shut us all down, and that was out of our control. But we didn't shut our doors down. But what did happen was we didn't have anybody coming through that door anymore because they were all home in their pajamas and there was no dry cleaning to get done. So they didn't understand that. There was nothing. We lost everything from one day to the next when the government did that. So there's a huge difference in our dry cleaning business and the thing, this business that they call it a thing. There's a huge difference. I wrote notes. So the next time that you think that this business is hard, what I want you to do is to think about the last sacrifice, the last painful sacrifice that you've made, either in your job or in your business. Think about that pain, and I want to challenge you and encourage you, okay, to go out and talk to two people, because talking to people is the root of our business here. And it's a lot easier to do that than to go through all the sacrifices like we did in the cleaners. It's a lot easier to go out and just connect with people and reach out to them. And a really good close loved one to me said to me once, you guys sacrifice so much for the cleaners, but God's going to bless you. And I believe that God has brought our company and all of you guys to us as a blessing. And so we've honed in our skills and we've learned new skills, and we're moving forward with this business, and we treat it just like we do our cleaners. We're serious about it, and y'all are all a blessing to us.
Y'all are amazing because you never miss anything. You're here every Saturday. We do a income producing activity call every morning at 9:15. Y'all never miss 5 days a week. You got a phone to your ear and checking somebody out the counter. But Lisa, I have one question for you in particular. As a woman, I've gotten to know you. So I know not only do you jointly run the dry cleaners with your husband, but you also homeschool your two children. And obviously us husbands are needy. So I don't know the details there, but I know whether it's cooking dinner or helping Mike or washing his clothes, whatever it may be. How do you balance all that as a woman?
Yeah, so we're lucky that we own a dry cleaner, so I have to do no laundry. It's been difficult because we do eat out a lot because we live far from our cleaners. But it has been difficult through the years. I mean, we've always homeschooled the kids. I have to do that full time, and I have to do the cleaners, pretty much full time. In the beginning, it was Mike that was always there when the babies were little. But it's been a juggle, and like I said, it's a huge sacrifice because the kids grew up in the cleaners, and even like Mike said, even if we're going to go do something that was fun, like a vacation to Disney. But we had to stop by the cleaners first. And, I had the kids crying in the car because we knew once Dad went in that cleaners, he wasn't going to be out for 2 hours. and we'd be sitting in the car because there's employee issues, there's machine issues, the customers are complaining, or Mike starts talking to the customers. So it takes a lot of patience. And it's just a day-to-day thing that you have to really, really work on, I guess, as a mom, and being able to juggle those things. Sometimes you have to, I've had to put school as, now that they're older, I have my daughter in college, and then Blake is a junior in high school. It's the cleaners is school for the most part. We have taught our kids business ownership. We have raised them in the cleaners. They do their schoolwork at home, yes, but they have learned how to be a business owner. If it wasn't for our kids right now after COVID, especially, I don't know where we would be, because there's no employees. Nobody wants to work anymore. Everybody thinks that Uber check or what have you is the thing. So our kids run our store on our front counter. And if it wasn't for them, I don't know where we would be, but I'm so grateful that we've taught them work ethic in the cleaners. And it's there's a lot of detail that go into that, but that's my short answer.
So many things there, Todd. By the way, you hear of homeschooled. I've never heard of dry cleaner school kids. That's okay, right? But guys, Lisa and Mike have become big shots here. And I define a big shot as a little shot that keeps on shooting. Okay. They kept on shooting for these 2 years, and now they've become big shots here. My favorite thing that was said there, Todd, was Mike was talking about time freedom. Folks, the greatest part about this industry, I know Brent and Todd will agree with me, is the time freedom that it's created for us. All of us could have made a living as coaches or in the IT world, but we've never had the time freedom that we've created here for our families. And same thing is happening for Mike and Lisa as we speak.
Ken, I got to say something too about Mike and Lisa. Obviously, no financial ties to me, but I'll tell you something, guys, that stick out the most about you. You know, I watched yesterday, I made a comment on a post about you guys ranking up to vice president, and I know that's just a stepping stone for where you're going. But I remember us doing an event, Todd and Ken, in Destin, Florida, and we needed somebody to take up money at the door. You guys remember that? And so me and Todd was scrambling like we always do, and we're getting into it over in the corner like two brothers, and we're needing somebody to take up the money. And Mike and Lisa said, we'll do it. And they literally sit at the door and took up money. And I share that with you because in our industry, if you have a servant's heart, money always follows. And it's like sometimes you got to find ways to serve before the money starts to be abundant. But if you have that servant's heart, it's an industry that will pay you very well in the future for serving. And Mike and Lisa are beneficiaries of what that's turning into, because they do have that servant spirit and that servant's heart. I hadn't known them all their life, but I promise you, if I'd followed them all their life, they have that servant spirit. And those are the people you're looking for in your business. Like, those are the people that come here and find a home forever. And so let that be a lesson that Mike and Lisa are great shining examples of what makes this industry so special and who you're looking for. So I just wanted to bring that out, because you guys will forever be etched in my mind as two that kind of said, hey, we'll go do it. And you did. And it's just a great example of a servant leader.
Well, we never turn down an opportunity to take in money, whether it's for us or for somebody else. You say I need somebody to take in money, I'm in. I wanted to add one last thing. Todd had mentioned some of the numbers about where the United States, North America are compared to the other countries. We've been watching for about 2.5, 3 years, Europe, Asia, all of these places that are kicking our butts around. It's time for North America to take off and blow this thing out of the water. And I know that it's about to happen.
Let's go, Canada, Mexico, and the United States.
Right.
Let's put ourselves on the map. Hey, one of the secrets in our industry to become a big leader is learning how to reframe things. One of my favorite excuses that people tell me when we first share this is I'm too busy. I love that excuse, and I just immediately reframe it. You're exactly who I'm looking for. I've never met somebody that wasn't busy that did any good at this. All successful people are busy. So I pursue them heavily when they're busy. But by the way, we're saving Fred for last, because Fred's actually going to give us some training tips from his 20 years in the industry besides his story. But the contrast of the guest was on purpose this morning. So you have Mike and Lisa, serial entrepreneurs, business people their whole life. Then we're going to go now to Gracie, never owned a business. She was a pastor's wife. Out of her own words and her husband's words, she was just a servant wife, just loving on people, supporting Benny's career. Benny also owned a financial company, worked for him at his financial company, doing the things he needed there. So Gracie, you now, and your husband cries when he says this in person. It brings tears to my eyes every time, but he shares your journey here the last 4 or 5 years, not just financially. What tears him up is the transformation in you, the transformation you've made from this servant wife, pastor's wife, to this strong business lady now changing people's lives. So Gracie, will you take us on that journey out of your words?
Good morning, Todd, Brent, Ken, everyone out there. It's such an honor and it's humbling to be able to share my story with you today. After the Lord allowed us to pursue a retirement out of pastoring, we resigned pastoring, and Benny kept building the financial business that he had started. And I was working with him. I always helped him, worked with him, whatever it was. I was sitting at my desk and asking the Lord, okay, my work is my worship, part of my worship, but what is my ministry focused right now? He brought a lady into the office I had never met before and introduced me to this industry. I did not go looking for this industry. God brought it to me and he said, here's the answer to your prayer. Okay, I felt it. It was burning inside of me. So I began this journey here, and life got in the way and slowed me down. And I liken it into I'm running 75 miles an hour, and all of a sudden I hit a speed zone and I'm down to 25 or 30 miles an hour. So I wait. I don't stop the vehicle and get out because I hit a speed zone. I stay in that speed zone and I continue my journey because this is where the Lord has placed me. And I want to say something here, Todd, if I may. When everyone was speaking about where we are in the new company coming up next Saturday, back last year, we didn't know what was happening, what was going to be brought to our attention, but the Lord knew that. Mm-hmm. And he had spoken to me, work hard, keep working, just work hard. So we worked hard, and God created a situation here in our church where it just began to grow, and to Todd and Ashley came over, and it just became a big place for the Lord to bless people to come into this business here. So we just kept working until we knew why. You don't know what you don't know until you know it. And you don't know what you don't know until you know it. So we finally knew why the Lord was speaking to us. But anyway, in this process, back to I'm in a speed zone. Life is happening. You don't have control over things. And so you just keep going. I want to encourage people who are in a slow place and who have not been able to take off real quickly. I want to encourage you, stay there. Every week during this speed zone, I still got a paycheck. You just want to stay. God is helping us build a retirement, okay? You got to stay in order for it to build. And so I stayed there during that speed zone until this past year. God just took the speed zone signs down. It was like, and said, go for it. So we began to work hard again. And it has just been such a huge blessing. During that time, I earned the $10,000 bonus, which was so fun. It was just a blessing and so fun. And so you want to stay. I never stopped my auto delivery, never. I went to every event, and you're talking about the power of events. I went to every event that I could get to. I encouraged people to go to these events. We are building it up in our meetings here every week now. We want to go to these meetings. We want to get plugged in. We want to stay connected. I was able to lock arms with Ken and Todd during this time and just hang on, because that's what it takes, just hanging on. And here we are today, members of the Catalyst Club, just such a bright future that God has given us here. And I'm just so excited. And Todd, I am so thankful that I stayed, because when Benny and I talk about retirement, it's like we don't know the definition of retirement right now, because we're moving from that mortar and brick office into the world, and it's just an open field for us, and it's something we feel like we can do till the end. And I just want to encourage everybody to stay. Do not give up. If you believe that this is the answer to your prayer, why would you quit? God doesn't make mistakes. So here we are. Amen.
Gracie, how would you describe our products? Have the products been good for you? And one question that nobody's ever supposed to ask a lady: what's your age, Gracie?
You're my friend, Ken. You can get away with it. I'm 74 years old. I absolutely love the products. When we learned from the company back in Atlanta, we went with Todd and Ken up there, and Benny took because he's my researcher. He took a list of questions. He said, they must answer these questions correctly. He said, if they don't do it in their training, I'll have to go find somebody that can. So when we got through, I said, okay, how about your questions? He said, they answered every one of them and correctly. So we are big into natural healing supplements that provide healing for the body, because I do believe that God created an awesome thing when he created man, and he gave us the ability to heal if we put the right things in our body. Our products are second to none, in my opinion, and in my experience with them. So I love them.
Todd, turn it back to you, buddy. Awesome, Gracie.
Wow.
You know, all I will say, and Brent, I see you shaking your head too, is that, you know, sometimes there's a pastor you listen to and you feel like God's just speaking directly through him to you. Grace, you give me chill bumps. You have so much power in your speech. And, you know, for those seeing for the first time today, that's not the Gracie I met. You might have been that Gracie. I just never saw it. Your transition here, your journey, you are as powerful as any speaker I've ever heard in network marketing. I'm just blown away.
Thank you, Todd. I'm humbled by that. But I do believe what I believe, and I believe that God put us here.
When you start
Gracie,
getting commas in your checks, it makes that belief even easier, right?
Yeah. That $10,000 bonus is always nice. So Gracie, I got to say this, 74 years old, that's hope for so many of us, because at the end of the day, our health is our wealth. I mean, long living and the products. I mean, I look around, I look at Sandy McFarland in Hot Springs, Arkansas, the transformation that's happened in her life on our product. You look absolutely amazing. And so for me at 47, I'm like, why would I jeopardize my health to get off these amazing products?
Right.
And so
right.
You saying I have never stopped my auto ship, no matter how lean times got, no matter how I found a way. And so for me, that's just inspiration to go, you know what more of a prized possession do we have than our body? And so you're an example of that. Thank you, Gracie.
One last question, and we'll reserve the last 15 plus minutes for Fred. But Gracie, would you mind sharing the products you take? I've had a couple people text me. What does she take? Maybe in order. Everybody might not be things you take.
Yeah, it would probably be easier to tell you what I don't take.
Kind of go in order of your favorites.
MOA. Yeah. we do take MOA, Noni, 5X. We take the Optimals, BioPro Q, the Omegas, the Magna Cal D, Venali, Elite, the Pure Nourish, the drops. Now I do the drops because I believe in them for the ladies' issues that we have. So do the drops. What else? The Pure Nourish, the chocolate, the orange boost. Go time, is that what it's called? If I need it, I take Noni Sleep. Yep, you just need to go shopping, come ring my doorbell, I guess.
And they live the life. All those products are on her counter every time I go to her house. And when we initially showed her pastor, her new pastor at the church, I went to eat with them and we ate fresh salmon. We drank kefir, and we also drank homemade, what's that stuff? Kombucha.
Kombucha.
Yes, they live the life. They truly do. So congratulations. So amazing. And we'll come back at the end. So if anybody has a question, throw it out there in the thread, and we'll come back and get them at the end. But let's bring Fred up. Fred, the most unique thing about Fred is he goes to church with Mike and Lisa. Mike and Lisa knew he had done very, very well in our industry. He's what we call used to be a mailbox baby in our industry. Now he's a direct deposit baby in our industry, meaning he wakes up every morning, he drinks his coffee and checks his money he made from years ago, putting time into something. But you know, anytime you approach someone like that, it's not easy. It is just not easy. And it took Mike and Lisa almost 2 years of hanging in there with all the issues going on with COVID and the dry cleaners and all the things they were dealing with, until one day Fred said, okay, I'm ready for a three-way with somebody that can talk to about it. So Fred, maybe you share that in your words to give people hope of how to find someone like you. And then we'll get into some training.
Well, thank you very much. Boy, it's a real honor to be on with all these coaches and great leaders here. It really is. And again, congratulations on VP, man. I was running through the house screaming and hollering. It was like I got the promotion. I just love seeing you guys grow. And by the way, I want to say thank you to Anthony for running the show here behind the scenes. He does such a great job. But you know, I knew them not only from church. I had owned a dry cleaning company myself, and so I knew Mike and them were dry cleaning. The difference between me and their 10 dry cleaning is, in my dry cleaning store, I learned how to lose your shirt and mine all at the same time. I was a disaster. It was a disaster. Buddy, listen, I could hear the sucking sound and going out the back of the building on a constant basis. What have I done with myself in the dry cleaning business? But it's interesting that a lot of people don't know this about me, but I came home with one quick story is that basically I'm not a rocket scientist. You're going to learn that nobody can butcher the English language like me. If you've ever got a text from me, you need your secret ring decoder, right, Lisa? And so I'm a dyslexia, like off at the chart. My wife told me last night she was going to put me on meds. So I said, no, you ain't. No, you ain't. I got something right here for it. Took another mill. So anyway, but I came home in the 7th grade. My dad had been gone for years, and my mom was gone. She just left. And my 2 sisters and I became street kids. We made it by the grace of God. I'm telling you, by the grace of God, we made it. And I ended up in the ditch laying brick as an apprentice boy. God took mercy on me, hired me, even though it was illegal at the time of my age. And I laid bricks up to about the age of 30, 35, tried a multiple business, been in network marketing. But the truth of the matter is my heart's desire, Todd and Brent, was to be a high school football coach. But I never got to finish high school to get a chance to make that happen. But I'm telling you, God gives you the desires of your hearts, and through a series of events, which would take longer to explain here, but God opened that door for me, and I became the head football coach for King William High School on the JV team for 7 years, and we went 7 years straight as regional champions, and I got to be the line coach for the varsity team, and in fact, we won 2 state championships right there at Liberty University.
That
So I
explains
got
it
that
all,
part
Fred. I now
designed.
know your secret.
Yeah. So it's just something about that. And then speaking of Gracie, a lot of people know because I went to a mega church and we didn't start off that way. Got really involved in the church activity and the Bible Institute they had there, and literally just completed my years there. And a lot of people don't know this. For the last 8 years, primarily, I'm actually an ordained pastor. I don't have a church, and that's not what I minister to. I minister to business owners, traditional business owners who struggle, where most pastors really don't understand what they go through, and having multiple businesses and failing multiple times. I have a real understanding what it's like. Everybody gets a check, but not you. And so I've been doing that. And in fact, I'm finished the school and all that. I say all of that to say this whole business is about helping other people. When you can get that servant's heart like everybody on here, I'm telling you, you're going to do all right. But I think as far as coaching goes, because I think of you 2 times, every time I hear about a football game or a basketball game, I think of the coaches on here right now. My opinion, now again, it's just as me. When you recruit somebody, the most important thing you can do is get them a win right now. I don't care how big it is or how small it is, but you've got to, as we say in this business, move the needle. In football, we got to get a yard. You know, I taught my team, it was really simple. The lineman's responsibility was really simple. And my JV team was, we got to go 3.3 yards every play. I don't care what we do. It's 3.3 yards every play. I don't care about touchdown. We got to get a movement. And so that's how we won championships. And this is what you got to do with your people. You've got to get them to move 3.3 yards in the football language. But here is to get a win. How do you get a win? You help them. First of all, I don't ask this question here a lot, but what's your why? That's a network marketing. That's something we really have in our industry. When you go get a job, they don't ask you, what's your why? That's something we come up with. They ask you, what do you look for this job to provide for you? And what are you looking to bring to the table? So I always ask them, what are you looking for this business to bring to your table for you and your family? And then shut up and let them start telling you. Sometimes it's as little as $100 a week or $100 a month. Whatever that is, that's what you write down and you get engaged for that. And then I ask the second question is, once I understand what that is, because I want millions of dollars doesn't mean they do. See, I believe that I can earn millions here because I have. I'm back in this industry because there's thousands and thousands of children. I want to make sure they got shoes and proper medical care in countries that they don't have it. That's why I'm here for my number one. But they might not have that same desire. So it may be $300 a month. And that's where you land with them. And the big question you ask after you find out what that is how soon do you want that to start happening? And they'll go, well, I want to start making money right now. Great. How many hours a week are you willing to put towards this to make it happen? And without that answer, you don't really have anything yet. See, if you ask a football team to show up at spring training, y'all know you had kids every freaking wheres. But by the time you got to about the third or fourth practice, it starts thinning down pretty quick. Everybody wanted a superstar. Everybody wanted a letter on the jacket. No, not everybody's willing to pay the price. So if we can't find out why they're going to do this and what they're willing to pay, like Mike and Lisa did, and Gracie and everyone here, pay the price. What are you willing to give up? How many hours a week? Well, I don't have any time. We got to find some time, or you don't have anything. All you have is a name, and they pay $29.95 or whatever. And so until we move that needle, until we move that yard, that football, that yard or two or three, you don't really have a thing. But once you got a commitment, then you got to give them an action step. My action step is get your phone out, and I'm going to help them create a list of 25 to 50 people. I won't leave your kitchen table or the Zoom until we have 25 minimum. And I can tell when somebody's giving me, because I've been doing this a while, names of people they don't even really, they're just in their phone book. They're just in the cell. They don't even know what state they're in. I can tell when somebody's, but I want a local 25 to 50 people that we can either go to their house, we can get them to a Zoom, we can meet them for coffee and do a 2-on-1 or whatever it takes, or launch a party. I want a launch date. How soon are you ready to launch this business and get to your $500 a week on a part-time, summertime basis? And get that date set, because if you don't have a set date, what's the point? You haven't launched. So you got to have a time to launch this business. So set that up. And then if you're like me, I don't almost do nothing here. Y'all know that. Ken Bailey recruited, went and saw a friend of mine, Ken Huffer, and Ken asked, is it okay if I have another guy there? I said, absolutely. Ken recruited Ken, and then they recruited Rob. I didn't do anything. I just put leaders in front of leaders and let the thing take care of it. Three-way phone calls, Zooms. I get out of the way. Could I have done that for myself? Sure, could have. But I'm telling you, when you learn to engage your leadership in these practices, you're going to do well. I wouldn't do somebody else's own launch, my own launch. I want someone else to do it, because when a lot of the people I grew up with, when they don't know anything about where I've gone to, they know where I've been. They still see me in Glenwood ghetto as some ghetto gut boy and the street banging around. That's how they still see me, but I'm no longer there. So I can't edify myself, but I bet you Todd, I bet you Coach Palmer and Ken could edify me. I bet Mike and Lisa could edify me, but when you edify yourself, you just screw it all up. That's why you've got to get somebody else on that launch to do it for you and with you, in my opinion. Again, the action step is between 25 to 50 names and set that launch date. And I like to inflict my will on theirs. I don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of available space. I've got Thursday available and I got Saturday available. I want to inflict kind of my will on theirs, because if I leave it to them to pick a date for, or don't help move them, here's what they say. Well, let me get with the wife and check it out. Let me go look at my calendar. Man, you know what you do every day. You get up every day, go to the same job you hate. You drive the same route to work, you to the same boss you can't stand, to eat the same stinking lunch you always been eating. You know what time you're coming home, to eat the same leftovers that your wife fixed the day before. You're coming home and going to the same old bed, sitting at those stinking same old lawn. You know what you're doing with your time. But if I don't flick my wheel on theirs, they almost will never pick a time. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Anyway, and then here's the most important step. You ready? Repeat, repeat, repeat everything you just done with their brand new people over and over. Listen, this is really a boring business. Just saying the same thing over and over, the same Zooms over and over. Now, I'm excited about being here, but when you really break it down, all we do is have the coaches have their playbook and they run the same plays over and over and over. Oh, they might do it in a different formation, but it's still the same set of plays. It's the foundational thing we do here. The minute that Lisa and them recruited me, they didn't have to ask, but they did ask, when you ready to get started? We set a launch date. We filled up this house, not 1 week, but 2. And guess what? Todd drove all the way to Richmond, Virginia, and we launched this thing, man. Listen, there's fuel in the rocket, but it ain't any good unless you ignite it. So we got to launch these people, folks. We got to get them going. And I want to say one thing right now, I think as important as anything we are doing, especially with the VIP club, and my personal opinion, we need to be driving the importance of being at Destin. I mean, this just ain't an event. I've never been. I don't have to have. I already know, because of who I see on here, this thing is going to be unbelievable. I have already made my plans. I'm going to be there. I want to go 2 days early, just pick my spot, man. I'm telling you, I'm excited about this. Let me tell you, everybody that's listening right now, that's new in this business, listen to me. Everyone who's making 6 figures or more will be at that event. Not everybody there will be making 6 figures, but I can promise you one thing. I'm going to get as close to Coach Palmer as I can get. I'm going to shake his hand, and whatever's on him, I'm rubbing on me. Whatever's on Ken Bailey, I'm rubbing on me. Whatever's on Todd and his bride, I'm telling you, I'm taking a bath. You've got to get in the heat with the leaders, and you got to get as close as you can close. And every time you meet somebody, say, hey, can you give me a nugget? Can you give me a nugget to explode my business? If you ask 10 of these great leaders for one, you leave there with 10 things you can explode your business. Now you got fuel in the rocket. You've lit it. Now this thing is going into hyperspeed. This company's no longer going to be at the speed of sound, light. We're going at the speed of sound, which in fact, we're going to be at the point we're going to be at the speed of thought. Before you think it, it's done. I'm telling you, listen, I'm having a hard time sleeping. When I wake up at 3 a.m. to go to the bathroom, guess what I'm doing? My mind turns on. I almost had to go get another Renew. I'm jacked out of my mind. This is the happiest I've been in 25 years in reality. I had a great run where I was at. I enjoyed it. I learned so much. I've still got some dear friends, but I'm excited about the new family I have here. I'm excited about this group of leaders here who know how to coach, who know how to inspire us to get the best out of us, and they do it by leading us. So anyway, be it destined. I don't care whether you have to get 5, 7 people in a room. I don't care if you have to get a babysitter for 5 or 6 women, whatever you got, and send a babysitter there. Figure this thing out. Partner up, drive, rent a bus, get 40 people in a bus, get down there. But you've got to be at that event, because I'm telling you, you will not come out of that thing as the same human being as you went in. That I can promise. You will be forever changed, and your business will be ever for change. And listen, I know budgets are tight for some people. Get with your leadership. Let's figure this thing out. If we listen, if I got team members, I'll make sure there's peanut butter and jelly in your room. That's what I ate for my first 5 conventions. I didn't have it. Me and Darren Kidd ate peanut butter and freaking jelly, man. That was it. And one time we had so little money, we had to give up the jelly. We didn't even have jelly. Oh, dry peanut butter sandwich. Didn't even have no milk, I'm telling you, but we were there. And guess what? We've all made millions for doing it. Do what you got to do. Destin's the place to be. Back to you guys.
I think Zig Ziglar is reincarnated, Todd. Zig Ziglar's back.
Hey, I'm wanting to get down in my stance right now. 3.3
Coach.
yards. Let's go.
Come
Let's
on,
go.
Coach.
Now, I'm up in the preacher stand. The preacher showed up this morning.
Well, come on, girl. You did. You showed up.
Tying it back to you, Todd.
Yeah, we're right at timeout, but I don't know if any questions popped up that anybody saw that we need to ask these 3 great guests this morning. They just all delivered so many nuggets. And I will tell you, I get to work with all 3, and they live what they preach. They live it. They never miss anything. Fred is growing Ken and I because he's connected us to people. I won't call names out. I don't know where everybody stands on everything, but you know who you are. I mean, Ken and I are having to get answers in Japan. He's on one phone call getting Japan figured out. I'm on another phone call getting South Korea figured out. We're on another phone call finding out we're opening up the Philippines. So, I mean, you never arrive in this business. You're always having to expand, grow, learn, find somebody that knows the answers you don't know. That's what coaches do the best. We never pretend like we've got the answer. We find the ones that do, and then we copy it. We give credit once, and then we make it our own. That's the way the coaching world works, from college to pros. They call it the copycat business. But any questions?
No, Todd, I just want to remind everybody, we'll get the recording up. This will be a great recording to get your team to listen to if they weren't able to be on this morning. And thank Chris for always, he kept this call going Saturday mornings for like 7 or 8 years maybe now. He couldn't be with us today, but thank you, Chris, and Anthony behind the scenes. Such appreciation. And all of our guests, as you said, Todd, fantastic.
Yeah, I cannot see without my glasses on anymore. So if nobody has anything, we will sign off this Saturday morning, and make sure you're on with Andrea tomorrow night. Get your 5-day social media plan. Get your launch parties organized, whether that's you and everybody else at the house or whether that's in a house altogether. You figure out what's going to be best for you. But let's open it up. Let everybody thank Fred, Mike, Lisa, and Gracie for being with us this morning.
Great morning. Great morning. Love you guys. Grateful for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Incredible. Thank you.